All right, so listen, to begin with, like right away, I got two cards right when I was trying to get like an energy right away about boundaries, okay? And you needing to place boundaries in you need to put boundaries in place, okay? Especially with over here, I see sabotage. I just don't want you to self-sabotage who I'm talking to. I'm worried that you're going to go back to somebody who was really, really emotionally abusive, if not like many types of abuse, okay? And I don't want that in your life, okay? And I think this person is very, very charming, right? They're very good at manipulating your energy and getting you to see them in a certain light. And then the minute you let them back in the door, like almost a minute, it's like, there's a light switch, right? But it's hard for you to remember that because you see so much of the good times. And like, let's even put it like this, okay? Look, you could have like 70% of the time y'all are cool and this person is whatever, but that other 30% could be like detrimental to your actual life, like your physical life, depending on what level of abuse we're talking about, right? Because you don't want to allow somebody to like, hurt you, first of all, or to push you into such a deep state of depression and loss and remorse. And how did I get myself in this position to where you're getting depressed and you're trying to find ways out? And I'm just saying, you guys, there's help out there if you're feeling really depressed and you feel like, that they're, you know what I'm talking about, okay? If you're getting those feelings, like, or if you've ever struggled with that, like, you're not alone. There's so many resources out there, okay? Like, I just want you to know that, like, it's only temporary. And I also want you to know you can be in situations, you guys, where that is like, that's the way you're thinking, like, because it's so, you don't understand how you got back into it, okay? I've been in relationships like that. This was years ago, like, I laid, like, oh man, yes, I was very depressed. I don't like, I wanted to end my existence, right? Because I just couldn't understand how I allowed my life to get to this level and how was I living with such, basically like a monster at that time, right? And I didn't realize, this was like in my like 20s, right? In early 20s, like, I don't know. I started numbing, honestly, because I couldn't face the truth of that situation and I couldn't find a way out of it. Like, I turned to, like, using substances. I don't know. Like, maybe somebody needs to hear that. Like, you're not alone. I want you guys to know I've seen 144 and 222 right now, okay? But definitely, I feel like you need to have boundaries because, honestly, I feel like if you let this person in, you can't keep making excuses for who they are. It's not just because they're drunk. It's not just because they had a hard day. It's not just because this person pissed them off or that. No, you're tippy-toeing around, like, you're walking on eggshells in your own home when you deal with this person. You know what I'm talking about, right? And I feel like this, it's not that they're like a bad person all the time. Like, I feel like this person, again, is very charming. Like, you have good conversation with this person. Y'all kick it, right? Like, you probably have common interests. Like, I feel like this is your person. I feel like you have a lot of history, but like, I'm going to be so honest. A lot of that is trauma bonds right now. We got to look at it like that. Not because like, I'm not even going to try to villainize this person at this point, right? Because that's not going to do any justice. I feel like you have everyone around you. This is a specific story, you guys. This could be in the past. This may be something you've already dealt with, right? And maybe if you feel comfortable, if you've dealt with situations like this and you've gotten away and you want to comment for the person who this is, feel free to do that, okay? Because I just want you to know you're not alone, and it's 333 right there. You're really not, right? I feel like unity is important in situations like this because you do start to cut off all your people, or your people get sick of dealing with you because you keep going back to the same situation, right? Or you don't want to admit that you allowed it back into your life. I mean, there's just so many levels of this shame and this whole like manipulative game that I feel like who I'm speaking to is going through right now, okay? Like, I feel like I'm talking to somebody like specific, okay? It could be more than one. And again, we could be talking past tense, right? And like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can make it through. I promise you that. I want you to know that. And boundaries are the hardest thing sometimes you ever have, like, ever. And sometimes you have to just like dip, like, and move, like, I remember moving across state more than once just to get away because I knew I was too weak. If I was in the same city as said person, like back then, I was too weak. I knew I was too weak. And I had to go back home. I had to go home to my parents' house. And that was the most humbling stuff I've ever had to do because I was never going back home, right? I was grown. I'm an Aquarius. I'm independent. Like, I didn't even know about Aquarius, all like that. But for real though, like, for me to humble myself and be like, oh no, because I kept letting him back in. Like, I literally did. I kept letting him back in. I knew he was out. Like, but I was so strung into that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was sad, but it was something that I had to go through in order to like learn and move forward. And there are situations like where we don't come back from that, right? Like I've known people there's people that really don't come back from that, right? Like for real, like they don't wake up, per se, right? And even when we don't heal after that situation, we will continue to call in partners that are similar. I just want you to know that, because that wasn't my last abusive relationship, right? Like even though I got away, I jumped, like you have to take the time to really acknowledge what it is that's going on inside. But if you're in this, like, you're not going to be able to acknowledge that. You're not going to be able to find the real truth of the situation while you're living with this, I'm going to say, enemy, right? Because this person is going to want you to they don't want you to believe or see the truth within yourself, right? And if you start to believe it, they're going to find ways to knock that down. And it's unfortunate, because I think, like I said, I think you guys get along a lot of the time when you're with this person. You guys usually like are cool, unless you stand your ground, unless you say no, unless you have a boundary, right? And then this person like kind of loses it, and you're going to know if this is your situation. Okay. I know you love them. If for who I'm talking to, like, that is still considering, or maybe went back again, or however it looks, like, it's never too late to have boundaries. I guess if you're in it right now, you guys, like, watch how you leave the situation. You know what I mean? Because I remember once, like, oh, okay, well, here we go. I guess memory lane today. Yeah, okay, I guess we're doing it. There was one, like, battered women's shelter when I was really trying to get away, like, in my 20s from this one relationship. Like, they wouldn't even come get me because of, like, him. Like, and my going back so many times and stuff, too. Like, I had to get to, like, a private location for them to even want to deal with the situation. So, saying that, I'm just saying, if you're dealing with somebody who's super dangerous, just be careful. You know what I mean? You don't need to make it be known. I feel like this is something that you're going to need to, like, you're going to need to come to terms with in yourself. Look, I see 82 right there. You need to come to terms with it in your heart. Like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get out of the situation. I'm going to leave. You need to make an exit plan, and you need to just execute that stuff and never look back. Okay. I mean, you're going to need to look back in, like, therapy or whatever, but, like, change your number, do what you got to do, get up out of this. Okay. Because you don't want to be the one that doesn't wake up. That's the bottom line. I had no idea that's where we were going to go with this today. Looking at, I'll be honest, it's going to be really hard for you. And only in the way is because you're so codependent to that energy right now. But I just want you to know that, like, as, like, the days, the weeks, by month, I feel like you're going to have, like, a whole different mentality about the situation. I promise you. But you have to be willing to, like, lean in and go through it, right? Which is staying gone, not having contact, not being codependent, not thinking you're not going to make it without them. I mean, you can think these things, but you don't need to act on them, okay? What you need to tell yourself when you're thinking them is, I got this. I can make it through this, okay? This is what I have to do for me and mine. Because some of y'all probably have kids and stuff too, right? Like, I literally want to live. If you need to, remind yourself of, like, the worst of the worst. Like, remind yourself of that over and over, of why you're doing it. No matter how much it hurts, no matter how much you still love them, right? Or tell yourself you're doing it for them because they need to get better. They need to learn how to get control over their emotional issues, right? They need to find healing. And then maybe they will one day. Maybe they'll get some therapy and they'll get help and they'll become a different person. But that's not for you to find out today, right? They can't provide that for you today without getting help themselves. And I feel like, honestly, this is a situation that is not something that can be fixed while you're living together, like, at all. Like, at all. You need, like, this is something you need to get away from. If this is your story, I am very sorry if this is your story. Oh, I'm sorry. It's going to be okay, though. I promise. It's going to get better. I would just, accept that it's going to hurt. Like, it's going to hurt a little, like, it's a lot. And I don't mean it like that, but, like, ending a relationship is hurtful, right? Even if we're angry at the end, it's still hurtful. Like, it's still a change. It's still a big life change, right? And you're going to be making a lot of them. I see 911. Get the proper assistance that you need, okay? A lot of times in, like, America, I feel like it's 211 or United Way, first call for help. They can always give you resources. They can always find ways to get you, like, help you figure out how to get out of a situation. I feel like that's it. Or Google, right? Like, look for the resources, but I know there's so many more. If I see anything, if I think of anything, you guys, I will pin it in the comments as well, okay? Yeah, have a great day.